we're walking into a parking garage that took down a U.S. presidency. This parking garage in Roslyn, Virginia, was the meeting place of reporters Bob Woodward and Carl Bernstein with FBI informant Mark Felt. You may know him as Deep Throat. President Richard Milhous Nixon was inaugurated in 1969, and during his first term, he had a committee called CRP, Committee to Re-elect the President. Now, this committee had a lot of nefarious activities. There was some money laundering, there was a couple different scandals, but one of the things they did was at the Democratic National Convention at the Watergate Hotel, they absolutely had burglary tools, money, radio scanners to listen to police activities, walkie-talkies, camera film, and even tear gas guns. So what they were trying to do was bug the Democratic National Convention and their offices to see what was going on, and also potentially take down that entire side's presidential candidates, because in addition to trying to reelect their president, they also wanted to make sure no other president candidates ever came forth as a serious frontrunner. So during a chance meeting in 1970, Mark Felt, who was a longtime FBI employee, and Bob Woodward, who was a Washington Post reporter, both had business at the White House. They just happened to meet in the waiting room of the West Wing. Mark Felt had access to the executive branch of the government. He knew things. He knew about the involvement of the Republican Party in the potential tampering of Democratic candidates and other things they were doing to essentially spy on the Democratic Party. So, Carl Bernstein and Mark Felt and Bob Woodward met in that parking garage in space D32. How did they find out when to do that? Bob Woodward lived at 1718 P Street in Washington, D.C. Mark Felt would look at his balcony and see if Bob had moved a flower pot on the balcony. He could see this from the street. If Mark Felt wanted to meet, he would find Bob Woodward's New York Times copy and mark that he was going to circle a page, and then one of the pages would be circled and then have the hour of the clock on the circle, and that's how they would know when to meet. And they would meet right here at 1401 Wilson Boulevard in this parking garage. It's parking garage B and C. Check it out before they demolish it.